What's up, guys? Welcome to Diggity, a video game podcast, episode number 261. I'm Jeff James, with me as always. Whoa! Imposter. Not as always. Not Luscious Brody Faults in the hot seat today. It is a friend that, my God, has listened to all of our stuff and also is a mod, generally on the YouTube and Twitch side of stuff, and also in the Discord, which helps a ton. So thank you to his service. But we've got Eric, aka Obligatory Toast, in the old Spawn Camp community, and it's gonna be great, man. I really think we're gonna have some good discussions and shit. I mean, you have, like we were just talking before. Before your wedding a couple years ago, I was doing the podcast in your living room.
Yep. Yeah,
Probably just while I was traveling up there.
On the podcast.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, we're gonna have a blast tonight. It's gonna be great. We are going to really dive into some pretty sweet stories that we've got from across the interwebs. But if this is your first time ever listening to Diggity, welcome. We were at first a audio podcast, and then we dove into the hellhole of YouTube and Twitch. And slowly climbing up the ladder. But you can check us out on YouTube, the video version, and see our beautiful faces every Thursday evening at around 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch and on YouTube. And the audio version of the podcast always goes live each week, minus holidays here and there, at like 5:30 in the morning on Fridays. So you can really, yeah, exactly, crack it down. So you can, really listen to us for your morning commute, and it's a fantastic time. And if you are listening to the audio version, try jumping over to the video version. I know the audio version we do pretty good on there in terms of Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, you name it. We're on every single streaming platform, and we're also on that hellhole thing called social media as well, on Twitter and Instagram at Diggity Podcast. So follow us over there as well, and definitely check out Spawn Camp, which is what we're part of on YouTube. That's how you'll find our videos. We've got WCD and Beyond on there, which is another show, as well as Build Pros, which is all Gunpla stuff, and that community is wild, and I love them, but they're wild. And you can also actually join our Discord as well for free. We don't charge for anything. It's not part of a Patreon deal or anything like that at all. It is just open. It's a great community. We talk about games, we talk about books, we talk about music, we talk about F1. It does not matter what it is. We all nerd out. We all get together, have a good time, and it is one of the last sacred places on the internet left known to man. That is not incredibly dangerous and deadly. And you can get that link in the audio show notes as well. It's in the comment section right now as well on YouTube if you're not part of it. And yeah, I think I hit all the... Oh, I guess the last thing, this Monday we're bringing back OBO, which is our podcast called Objectively Bad Opinions, which is always just wild. It's not safe for work without headphones typically, but it's a good time. I'll tell you that. I mean, there's
epitome of chaos.
It is straight chaos, but we love it. So we definitely cannot complain there at all.
And
but
that was coming back once a month, eh?
Yeah, it is once a month to start, and then we'll see where we go from there. But it should just be a good time. It's basically just a ridiculous bantery podcast where multiple hosts from multiple Spawn Camp projects kind of come together and shoot the shit, and some weird stuff goes on.
I know there's quite a few that I'm just splitting my sides laughing.
Some of them are pretty wild. Wild. But
for sure.
With all of this said, let's jump right on into the news, my man. So the big news that hit a couple days ago, and just stuff that obviously everyone always has an eye turned to this, is GTA 6. So Grand Theft Auto 6 is at least 2 years away, but is being made under improved conditions at Rockstar, which is great to hear. Great to hear that there's some better employee practices there as well, and also to hear that we're going to get a game, which is also fantastic. But Basically, the report centers on changes with Rockstar since the company's public reckoning with crunch back in 2018. So obviously, we hit those reports where crunch time was just absolutely insane. And they had things like Dan Houser said his team had been working 100-hour weeks to finish Red Dead Redemption 2, which is wild to think. But hell, I'll tell you what, that game shows 100-hour weeks because that game is a masterpiece. But they've definitely made some changes to that. And GTA 6 looks like it's going to be about 2 years out. I'd probably say 3, to be honest with you, just to hedge a bet.
Delays.
Yeah, but I bet you we will probably eventually see them come out and talk about that. We'll talk about that in a second. But the report basically states that GTA 6 will also include the series' first playable female protagonist as one of its lead characters. It'll be a Bonnie and Clyde style duo where the woman is also of Latina descent. And it also reiterates previously reported details such as the game's map, which was originally planned to feature large swaths of North and South America, being scaled back to make development more manageable, with a map initially focused on modern-day Miami, Vice City, and the surrounding areas that will then be expanded over time, which is interesting. And I like that a lot more from that thing. But some interesting side stuff, and we'll talk about this in a second, Eric, in greater detail. But also part of this rumor is, unlike the previous games, GTA 6 developers are said to be avoiding jokes with punch down to marginalized groups, and being more sensitive to some cultures. And the report also details that Cops and Crooks, a planned cops and robbers style mode for GTA Online that Rockstar canned in response also to the police murder of George Floyd when that happened. It probably wouldn't have been the best idea to launch something like that. Other changes within Rockstar itself as a company include a new flex time policy to immediately gain back extra time spent working, a narrowed pay gap, and the hiring of additional producers to ensure workloads are better managed. So we'll have to see what comes of this. My guess is that it's probably 3 years out. I don't foresee it 2 years. I think 2 years is probably when they really start ramping up like a lot of marketing for it and stuff like that. I'm sure we'll start getting a tease. Maybe we'll start seeing a tease in the next at least year somewhere, whether that's at next year's E3 time or whether that's at Game Awards or something like that. You know what I mean? Like or Summer Game Fest, some Jeff Keighley event.
They'll give it to Jeff Keighley for sure.
They'll give it to Jeff Keighley for sure.
Yeah.
So let's kind of dissect this. First of all, the 100-hour weeks, that's great that they're not doing that. I don't know what your sense is on that, but I think work to me in a lot of ways is busy times can be seasonal, and that's fine, right? Like to me, I know some people aren't cool with that. I know some people just want the standard 40 hours every single week. To me, I am fine knowing that, okay, this is only going to last, a week, 2 weeks or something like that because it's a seasonal thing. Not 100 hours, might I add, but certainly a lot less. But I'm cool with that. It's great to see that they're not going to do 100-hour weeks. I thought it was really neat, their flex time, where basically if you put in overtime, you get that time off, which I thought was kind of fascinating. That's kind of an interesting take on that. I think a lot of people would honestly, in a lot of companies, do that. I mean, I would. If I could front load all of my work through Monday to Thursday and have Friday off, I would do that. Like 100%. No questions asked. So what do you think about that piece of this story as we dissect it?
I think it's really nice that they're making these steps towards like some better business practices. I mean, in general, right? We have some more, some better work structures and stuff within the company, and I think it's definitely going to hopefully end up with a better game when people are more comfortable and more happy with their jobs. So I think whenever somebody's happy and comfortable, I think they put in better work. So
yeah, sure. I couldn't agree more with that. Then they, obviously, the next part of dissecting this is obviously the first playable female protagonist in the series. I think this is cool. Honestly not from a not that I care about the I guess, a quality piece to it. I think it's just good for GTA in general. Like,
Yeah.
the story was always focused around a dude or multiple dudes. So in GTA 5, for instance, and rough and tough people, and this will be kind of a breath of fresh air. It'll kind of be really cool if the rumors are true that this is more of a Bonnie and Clyde style, which makes it a really cool partnership that I think will definitely be able to expand the story better, and make things a lot more interesting. What's your kind of thoughts on that?
I'm definitely agreeable to that. It's we'll have an interesting dynamic
Yeah.
with like you said, Bonnie and Clyde type relationship here, and compared to the previous game with the three guys. Uh, I their names are escaping me right now, but
Yeah, yeah.
the that was always interesting, and certainly there's an equality piece here that can be talked to death, but um, it's just a bonus really on top.
Yeah, I think it's going to make for a great story. The three you're thinking of, by the way, is Franklin, Michael, and Trevor.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I definitely think that's going to bring a cool dynamic to it and just make a really cool story. Where, not that GTA necessarily didn't have a good story. I think it's always had a great story. But maybe this is going to allow them to elaborate more. So it's less and less of a go to point A to get to point B. Go to point C and collect point, the next thing at point D. Maybe we can actually focus a little bit more on that. Now, the biggest thing I think of this rumor that kind of people are overshadowing, and they're kind of just putting the female protagonist in there, is really the fact that they're going to have, originally the map was going to have parts of North and South America, large swaths of it. And in this rumor, it's saying it's being scaled back to make development more manageable by featuring modern day Miami Vice City, right? And surrounding areas. And that would be expanded over time. I think this is brilliant. I think this is fantastic. I think in GTA right now, primarily GTA Online, or really just GTA Online, you obviously have the ability to go to other islands. They've added some other stuff into it. And that's great. But how amazing would it be if you could go like a little bit north of part of Miami, and they're just like, hey, we've unlocked the South. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, we've unlocked
yeah,
Georgia, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, stuff like that, where, that's unlocked. Or South America, okay, cool, you can fly and you can get to, whatever. I think that's amazing, because that's going to bring a ton of life into the game over time. Not that obviously
yeah.
GTA 5 hasn't done well with GTA Online, but I think that'd be a huge touch, especially if it's going to create more and more story over time and make it more compelling for me to play it over the years from the story aspect. If they continue just to add more large swaths of land, that'd be fantastic. What are your thoughts on that?
It's definitely interesting having those more locales. I mean, the original map, GTA 5, was incredible.
Yeah, oh
Like,
yeah,
especially
it's
when
amazing.
it first came out. It had like lots of different variation in like sort of locales. But to have this expandability, they can essentially do whatever they want.
Yeah,
And
they could
they
do.
can
They could go
do
anywhere.
they can have mountains, they can have like forest, like heavy forested areas, like even smaller, like not skyscraper cities, but like
Uh
lower
huh.
lying cities and
Yep.
stuff like that. And definitely I mean, live service, like could this be
Yeah.
like pushed into something where it's just constantly expanding, or ever changing maps, or something like that? Like
So
there's
so
a
my
lot of
my thought my thought on that with the live service piece that you discuss is I think they're gonna keep GTA uh, online its own property, and I think
yeah.
that yes, it will inherit some map changes, just like a Call of Duty Warzone would,
Hmm.
where it gets
Or
a
Godzilla
probably,
in there.
yeah, probably a graphically dumbed down map version of whatever this is going to be. And then I think this is going to be primarily based and focused around the story. itself, at least for the first couple of years, like the first year or two, and then maybe they'll get more and more into the live service. But I think you leave GTA Online as a standalone product, and that's what they've kind of done in this latest update with making it free to play, and keeping that separate from the actual story itself, and the story kind of just plays into the online portion itself. And I think it's kind of probably one of the best ways to go about that. One of the concerns I do have, and it's not a concern on the ethics of the principle of punching down to marginalized groups. I don't think anyone really wants to do that in life. But what I definitely don't want to be missing from GTA is I don't want the quirkiness and the the on purpose and with hilarity stereotyping within the game, everywhere from redneck mountainous people down to the Mexican culture or whatever. In GTA 5, for example, has, like, on the radio stations, there's just some hilarious shit. And to be honest with you, a lot of the culture around it in terms of the jokes and stuff with Punch Down is more against Americana. I mean, it's really not, like, there's some stuff that's cultural based, but a lot of it is really just like quirky, funny shit and playing on extremes about America within the radio, in some of the dialogue, some of the shit that happens in the game. And I just hope that if they're punching down, maybe they punch down the big ones, but they still keep some of that stuff, because I don't really know what they mean by avoiding jokes. Because are there some jokes? Yes, but to be honest with you, I think more of it is just creating something that feels so real. And then in some moments, you catch yourself listening to, like, some crazy ad on the radio while you're driving your car, and you're like, "What the fuck did he just say?"
What am I listening to?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Because I feel like that's, like, one of the best parts of GTA is here's this incredibly modern game with great graphics. It's got so much realism, and then you're immersed in that realism, and there's jokes flying left, right, and center, just about Americana itself.
It's a difficult balance, right?
Yep.
So there, obviously, these days there's huge movement to not marginalizing groups and, like, playing to stereotypes and stuff like that. But there's a big part of comedy and a big part of, like, that type of stuff that is it's good to be able to make fun of yourself, or good to
Yeah.
be able to make fun
Sure.
of these certain groups in a safe space, I guess, is
Sure.
sort of, for the lack of better words. So, like, and the worry is, if they aren't making these jokes, does it dry out the game?
The game, right? It just becomes a
Yeah,
simulator of going and doing things within the city.
yeah. Like, the GTA's always been, like, I mean, maybe not. I would say Saints Row is sometimes, like quite a bit higher
Oh
in
yeah,
that,
for
like,
sure.
just over the top. But the GTA has always been on, like, the side of, like, pretty crazy. Like,
Yeah. No,
so
that was
it's
like perfectly put, man. I definitely agree with you on that. Like, there's a time and a place, and it's like this is probably a medium where, like, it's fine at the
yeah.
level that they were already doing it at. Is like I don't really
There's a
think I've
reason.
never really heard anyone complain about it.
Yeah, there's a reason why these games are 18 plus, right? Like,
Yeah, and also, like, there's a reason why, like, tens of millions of people have purchased these games. If there was a
yeah,
problem with them, I mean, I'm sure those tens of millions of people are not all white people or all, like, of one
yeah,
nationality. So it's like I'm sure someone would have complained at this point, and stuff would have been done. But I think they do in a good sense. I think you're right. This Saints Row definitely escalates it to a pretty fucking
quite
high
a bit,
level.
maybe a little too much,
Yeah,
but
maybe a little too much, but yeah. Cool. Yeah. So again, I guess quick recap. I think maybe about 3 years or whatever for this, really, truthfully. And I just really want to see some marketing out there for it. I really not that I don't even. It's not that I even need to see gameplay or anything like that. I just want to see someone come out and be like, yeah, this is some just even a light little hint, or someone just comes out and says, yep, we're about X amount away. And then
Yeah.
then we know, every couple of months we might get a little bit of a rumor, or we might get a little bit of a tease or something like that. But I definitely just want to hear the next thing Rockstar is working on, because Rockstar is just, I mean, they're an absolutely amazing team.
Imagine at the Game Awards, who's the CEO of Rockstar? Um,
Oh,
he
geez.
walk he walks out on the stage and says, "Yep, we're doing it," and then just walks off.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be fine with that, dude. I'd be absolutely fine with that. I don't care. I mean, I know that they've said it's in development already, but just be like, yeah, you'll be able to play as this, or yep, it's in Vice City, modern day Vice City. It's 2 times the size of the map of GTA 5, something like that, something cool. But yeah. Well, anyways, we'll move on to the next bit of news we've got here, my dude. So we'll quickly hit the PlayStation Plus Essential Games for August 2022. So they were confirmed. So here we go. This is actually pretty dope. So available starting August 2nd, you'll be able to pick up Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 Cross-Gen Deluxe Bundle for the PS5 and the PS4. You'll be able to pick up Yakuza Like a Dragon for PS5 and PS4, and Little Nightmares for PS4. What I'm stunned at with this is, and perhaps they just have stuff in their queue still, with the refresh of PlayStation Now, but I mean, like, no lie, Game Pass destroyed games with gold. Like, games with gold are not great traditionally, or typically, sorry,
Yes, I
on a
have
regular basis.
the list here for Games for Gold
Yeah,
for
yeah,
August.
yeah. Read it. Yeah, yeah. Go for it.
We have Calico
Okay.
coming out August 1st to 31st. Scourgebringer, however you want to pronounce it. August 16th, September 15th. Saints Row 2, the 1st to the 15th.
Okay.
And then Monaco, What's Yours is Mine from August 16th to the 31st. So, I mean, Saints Row 2 is the only thing that
Is
comes to
remotely.
mind.
Yeah,
Right?
and I mean the playability of that game. Like, let's be real, Saints Row 2. It's not something that I'm probably gonna dive a whole bunch of time into. But
Maybe a
like,
little dated.
to have, yeah, to have uh to have Tony Hawk in there is just, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm stoked that they're doing this. Even with PlayStation Now, they didn't really have to offer that game for free. They could have probably offered lesser games and done some other stuff. But to see Yakuza in there, to see Tony Hawk, this is really cool. I'm stoked for that for sure. Another piece of PlayStation news that hit the airwaves is there's a system software beta that kicked off today, and invited certain participants in select countries. And there's actually some really good new features. So the biggest one would be new gameplay and personalization options. So they're bringing 1440p HDMI video output to the PS5. Yeah, it's great. So the PS5 beta introduced support for 1440p HDMI video output, enabling players to choose an additional visual setting on compatible PC monitors and TVs. If the game you're playing supports 1440p rendering, you can experience native 1440p output on your display as well, which is great. So it's not interlaced or anything like that. It's all native. It's not compressed. Or if you're playing a higher game with a higher native resolution than 4K, then you may benefit from improved anti-aliasing through super sampling down to 1440p for those elite gamers. You can easily do this within the PS5 by testing 1440p output under screen and video options within the system settings to see if your HDMI device is compatible with it. So that's great. Some other stuff, game lists. This is awesome. So in your game library, you'll be able to create game lists, which make organizing your games even easier. This is something that is a little bit of a pain in the butt, especially when you get going with these free games. Like we just got these games in August. So you'll be able to go to your collection tab and you'll be able to select create game list. You choose the games you want to that game list, and then you decide what to name it. So basically folders in a lot of ways, right? You can have up to 15 game lists and 100 games per game list. I think that's plenty. All games under the Your Collection tab of your game library can be added to a game list, including disc, digital, and streaming titles. And you can also add the same game to multiple game lists, which is great. So you could make, my favorite action games, my favorite RPG games, whatever you want, have them in there and
Or
easily be
the
able to click.
backlog. The
The
backlog list.
backlog, yeah, the backlog list. That's perfect example, man. That's a
Yeah.
great example of how to use this for sure. Um,
Do you know what I don't see here though?
what did you say?
I don't see themes.
That's right. That's bullshit.
What the fuck?
We're heavy on our themes, man. I know. They can make so much money. Some more features coming. You can compare 3D audio and stereo audio, so you can now listen to and compare the differences between 3D and stereo audio on the same screen, and then choose your preferred setting. This is kind of a no-brainer. That should have probably been in there. Like, what does it sound like? What's a good example of 3D audio versus normal stereo audio? There's also easier access to in-progress activities. So when you're resuming a game, in-progress activities are often shown prominently at the top of the game hub to make it as easy and as fast as possible to get back to where you left off, which is fantastic, getting into the game. And then there's new social features where you can request to share screens. So you can now request party members to start sharing their screens to watch their gameplay rather than them, having to click that themselves or get a verbal thing from you within a party. Which is awesome. So you can just go to the voice chat card and then select the party member you want and send request share screen and then, go in with it. There's also a joinable game notification. So when you join a party and a party member is playing a game you can join, you'll now receive a notification, which is great. So if me and Eric are both playing Overwatch, I'll receive a notification. It's like, hey, you can join Eric's game. It's like, dope. Let's go for it. We'll join the group. We'll get in there. Yeah.
Interestingly, because we've struggled with this in the past, is trying to share gameplay.
Oh my God, yes.
Because I mean, I still have a PS4. I haven't committed to a PS5 yet, but that is probably the reason why it doesn't work. But having more of this share screen, making it a bit easier, certainly will help out.
Then you'll also be able to view new friends' profiles. So when you accept a friend request in the received list, you can now view your new friend's profile and accepted requests, which is kind of cool. Just to see it, you can send stickers and voice messages in game base, which is basically the chat situation for it as well. And it's great. The beta community is going through it. I don't know when it will officially launch, but those are great additions to the PS5 UI. And I love how they're really adding to it. I mean, every month or every couple of months, there have been different things. I mean, the voice activation and voice support AI assistant has been amazing to use. I use that all the time now. I've noticed the UI has gotten a lot snappier, a lot quicker, more refreshed, and it's just cool to see them continue to support this thing. It's fantastic. I love it. And I love the game list idea. I love your idea specifically about the backlog. You're like, okay, time to make this list and you can take them off. It's just brilliant, right? Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great that they keep working away at this. It's it's definitely important, right? That you have this service that you're offering to your gamers.
Oh yeah.
You want to keep them happy and keep adding new features and the hardware in the PlayStation and the Xbox have great, amazing capabilities, and exploiting that should definitely continue.
Certainly. Absolutely. Next piece of news, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass Wave 2 has been released. It's such a Nintendo thing to do, right? How else could you elongate this and make it sound more Nintendo? What would you say to this name?
I think it's missing some more flavor text like
Deluxe.
Ultra or Ultimate or...
Well, I guess it's got Deluxe, yeah. So it could be like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Super Booster Course Pass Ultimate Wave 2 or something like that. Would be like
exactly.
Absolute crescendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo. Okay, cool. So I played the first wave, and I've got the pass for all of this. And I think it's great what Nintendo decided to do with this. I mean, personally speaking, I would have loved to see a new game altogether, but I also understand that they've got a ton of tracks across older titles and across smartphone apps now that just could probably be ported in some fashion and allow people to play them. So the courses were revealed, which is great. So you're going to be getting New York Minute from Mario Kart Tour, which is awesome. You're going to get Mario Circuit 3 from Super Mario Kart. You're going to get Calamari Desert from Mario 64, which that's amazing. That's going to be a blast from the past. Waluigi Pinball from Mario Kart DS.
It's one of
Sydney.
my favorite maps.
Is it
Waluigi
really?
Pinball. Yeah.
Awesome.
From the DS, I played the heck out of the DS one.
Sydney Spring from Mario Kart Tour. Snowland from Mario Kart Super Circuit. Mushroom Gorge from Mario Kart Wii. There's a little blast in the past. And Sky High Sunday is a new track that will head to Mario Kart Tour at a later date as well. So this is kind of interesting because you were talking about before the show that there's some Mario Kart Tour tracks coming, but then there's also some tracks that were made that are now going to go to Mario Kart Tour itself as well.
Feed into each other. You gotta make that beautiful mobile moolah.
Oh yeah, dude. Mobile moolah is key nowadays. Look, I'm stoked for this. I know when they first announced it, I was like, geez, just give me, a new Mario Kart. But I gotta say, like, this is great.
You can say it.
Well, I want Double Dash. I mean, we all know that. That's just my
Yeah.
that's my dream, dude. I don't think it'll ever come back though. I was watching a YouTuber. Everyone should watch this guy. His name's Liam Triforce, and he does these unbelievable like hour and a half, hour long videos on games, like the history of specific games. And then I was recently watching one on the GameCube, and it is just a fantastic video of just how great the GameCube was and the games that were on it. And he started talking about Double Dash. I'm like, oh man. And
My dream.
I'm just a sucker for Double Dash, bro. I love it. Yeah, I think it's like the best Mario Kart.
Yeah. Here's like what I think they should do with Mario Kart is they should make a new one, drop the number, just and go the way of Smash Bros. Smash Bros. Ultimate, Mario Kart Ultra, Ultimate, whatever,
and just do this, yeah,
and just do like Double Dash mode. Because I mean, me too. Double Dash is my favorite Mario Kart game. Double Dash mode, like regular mode, and just be able to have like all the maps, all the players, and everything, and just continually build onto it like they're doing for Mario Kart 8, but have like it updated into like the Ultimate Edition. Like this is the final Mario Kart, and just continuously update it with season passes and stuff like that.
I 100% agree.
That would make sense to me.
Yeah, I think at this point we're not going to get one until the next system comes out, which is probably a year or two announced from now.
Well, it's like we're halfway through the Switch's lifespan or something.
Are we?
Like
I think we're beyond it. I think like we're about to approach like the end of it.
I forget now.
I could be wrong. If you want to Google that, please go for that. But yeah, like I totally agree with you. You just call it Mario Kart, and then you just keep adding courses, and you make it DLC, and people will pay for it. 100%. 100% I will do that. But like, yeah, 48 courses across these waves. There's still 3 more waves. Or sorry, 4 more waves because there's 6 waves to continue going here. That's amazing. That's huge. But yeah, I 100% agree with you, Eric. Like, just make it Mario Kart and just make new maps for it. Bring old maps over. People would just pour money into it. But I don't think they're going to do something like that until it's on a new system. In my own personal opinion. What do you got? Inconclusive?
Inconclusive. But if we think about it, Switch was released 2016, 2017, right?
I believe 16. But I could be wrong. I'm getting I get nothing but like Switch Lite shit. Hold on. Original Nintendo Switch.
Yes, March 3rd, 2017.
2017.
Was released worldwide.
So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 5 years.
Yeah.
So 5 years in. I mean, they don't have to do something new, but I mean, you're really with when they made something so handheld at the time that they did with the items that they built one out of. is so limited from a technical standpoint, but they're doing tons of workarounds. The cloud based stuff is
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean, the what they can do with those games is still incredible. Like I
I
know
agree.
you guys have talked about it in the past. The companies that do the ports. I forget the name of the company
The panic
specifically. The
button is one, for
Panic
example.
Button that does incredible ports that like optimizes the games incredibly. If you even think back to Breath of the Wild and the incredible magic they did with that game, and like it looks gorgeous, and
Hmm.
it's there's no load screens, right? Like you can
Yep.
just walk wherever you want. It's a they can do a lot with the lack of hardware, but it would be nice to have something that's more snappy, um, can run higher fidelity games and everything like that, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I know
Cool.
we're all dreaming of the Switch Pro.
Oh God. Well, I'm sure there'll be a rumor next week about the Switch Pro coming out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's how she usually goes. And then moving on, last story of tonight. Diablo. Speaking of mobile money, bro, Diablo Immortal reaches 100 million from microtransaction spending. So,
That's
despite the criticisms about in-game spending, the game is making a shit ton of money for Activision, Blizzard Activision, and can't blame them for this business move. Can't blame them for this business move. I mean, I remember when like people were criticized and people basically said, "Oh, this is bullshit. There's no way they're gonna make all this money." Um, and like, why the hell would they bring this to this, bro? They make good decisions. Like they're doing a lot of studies.
you don't know what
Um,
the market research behind the scenes is, right? Like it's I mean, we know for a fact being a video game podcast that
there you go.
mobile makes so much money. We play so many examples. All the Nintendo games crush in mobile earnings.
Yep.
Um, uh, the League of Legends mobile
Oh God.
is doing really well,
Yep.
from what I've seen. Essentially, any game brought to the mobile market has been doing really well, and there's a reason why all your app stores are riddled with copycat games and say reskins of games,
Oh
and
yeah.
because the money's there.
The money's there. You know what I was thinking the other day would be a great Nintendo game on mobile? Pikmin.
Yeah, kind of like pretty chill.
You're pointing and clicking, right, to get onto
Just
something. If you
tap.
wanted to like group up your Pikmin like you normally with different colors and stuff like that, you just circle, and then you
Yeah,
could like you circle them, and then with two fingers you can move them over somewhere. Like I think it'd work
uh,
great.
I could for
What
sure.
is fascinating about this number is people are like, oh, okay, well, it made 100 million. Well, it'll go down. Diablo Immortal was just released in China on July 25th, and it's expected to add significantly to total spending onto this. After 2 days, it was the most downloaded app on the App Store in China, and that's across all apps, not games, all fucking apps. So like, I mean, Facebook and stuff isn't really as existent out there, but like Weibo out there, WeChat, like fucking past that. Diablo Immortal past that shit in China.
Incredible.
Yeah, and spending by region so far, the United States was number one, followed by South Korea and Japan.
Well, not surprised with South Korea or Japan. They're crazy mobile gamers over there, but that is surprising having the North American market
Mm-hmm.
leading the way
Mm-hmm.
uh, in that game. I only know one person that's playing Diablo Immortal. I've thought about trying it out, but I haven't yet.
Yeah, and just to add to this in terms of like the good business decisions that the business makes, which makes sense, is Activision Blizzard launched Call of Duty Mobile in 2019 and has reportedly made $1.5 billion from microtransactions so far. Okay.
Jeez,
And in 2020, Activision Blizzard said that the plan is to bring every one of its franchises to mobile over time in some capacity. Why would you
what a
not when you make
roadmap.
that much money, bro?
Yeah, that always makes me think of imagine playing World of Warcraft on mobile, or actually, worst of all, imagine playing StarCraft mobile. I can't even fathom it.
Right? I know. And what's crazy is this might all soon be owned by Microsoft if the government approves it.
True. Yeah,
It's
that's a
crazy
huge
to think.
acquisition.
Oh my God, it's massive. $75 billion sale to Microsoft.
Incredible.
It's
But
crazy. But they
we'll
made the
see
right
what happens.
move. I mean, that just goes to show you, like, I think the gaming community is really super harsh on stuff. Do I really want a Diablo mobile thing as a gamer? No. But it's not built for me. It's meant to get somebody. If you're really hardcore and you love Diablo, you're probably going to try it out. Let's be real. Let's be real.
Yep.
But the majority of people that are going to try it out are going to go, "What the hell is this game? This feels like a full fledged game or close to a full fledged game to them on their device." And they're going to play that, and then they're going to hear that Diablo 5, Diablo 6, Diablo 7, Diablo 8 over the years comes out. They're going to be attached to those, and they're going to play those games. And they're going to
Yep.
buy those games for $60, $70, $80, $90, $100 for the collector's edition a pop. And they're going to
Yep.
play those games. And then they're going to be a hardcore gamer in terms of a hardcore Diablo fan. And they're netted into that ecosystem. And that is
100%.
brilliant. That is the whole
That's
reason for this.
that's the big play in the gaming landscape is capturing the largest audience you possibly can, because that will make you the most money. I mean, it's simple
Yeah,
business strategy.
smart business move needs to happen. Businesses need to make money to stay afloat. These guys are making tons of money. So
Yep.
I'm happy for them. That's fantastic that they're making the
Good
money.
for them.
They made the right business decision. People don't have to lose their jobs. This is great. It's probably going to create more
Maybe I'll
jobs.
maybe I'll download it and give it a shot.
No, God, I don't know. I don't know about that. But what I do know is that will wrap this show up. That was super quick, 45 minutes, bro. This was great.
Fine.
Eric, I really appreciate you coming on, dude, and filling in for Brody. Well, Brody has to work late this evening, which blows for Brody.
Yeah,
But
that sure does blow.
but he'll be back next week,
But
and I'll be on next week as well. It'll be a normal episode of Diggity. But dude, it's been great having you on here because.
yeah, it's
And
a good
thanks for
time.
filling in. It's just we talked at the beginning of the show of like, man, of all the times you've listened to the show or modded or anything like that, it's like, how have you not been on
I
this
know, and
show?
like I like to credit myself as being the first fan of Diggity.
Yeah,
But I mean, maybe, but who
yeah. I
knows?
think on the audio side of stuff, probably I mean, you're probably one. I remember sending it to you when we first did it, and we're like, here's that audio version of the podcast. Listen to it. Listen up, man. Listen to it. Tell me what you think or whatever. So you're probably not wrong. You're probably the first one that listened, honestly.
Yeah.
So thanks, man, for coming on with that. And thanks for listening. If this is your first time listening to us, please consider adding this podcast to your podcast library and subscribing to our podcast, whether it's the audio version or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spawn Camp on YouTube, where you can get some great pop culture, some great nerdy stuff, some great Gun Plus stuff on there as well, and content all over the place. Again, you can watch us live on YouTube and Twitch every Thursday evening, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And the audio version of the podcast was up every Friday morning at the butt crack of dawn at 5:30 a.m., baby. So you can get us listening into or you can listen to us in your ears in the morning commute as you drive. It's Friday,
As you roll out of bed,
roll out of bed and you
put on
realize
clothes,
weekend's
PJs,
coming.
go sit in front of your
Weekend.
computer,
Yeah.
go to your meeting because you work from home.
Yeah, if you work from home, cool. Boot us up, listen to us. If you work in the office like I do, get up, get a little pizzazz
You're
in your
dri-
step because you're listening to us, Wake up, take your morning dump, hear my voice. It's awesome. I love it.
That's the I miss my commutes now that I'm working from home for this new job. Diggity used to be
The
my
commute.
go-to among other podcasts going to and from work, but
I was just talking about this just before we close up, but I was just honestly, it's a little off topic, but I did discuss this with somebody else too, and it's like you're in that environment, right? Like you're in the work environment, and then that 15, that 10, that 15, that 20-minute drive is like a reset to the next
yeah,
environment, which is at home. And
exactly.
it's kind of
It's
interesting, like how it all
something
just
that
works.
you're missing
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's a reset. Like, okay, cool, time to be at home now, right? Where it can be really hard for some people, right? But all right, well, again, thank you so much, Eric, And
Thank you for